Welcome back to KitbashCarnage. So today we're going to do a video on how to cast some pieces, make some molds and cast some pieces that you want to maybe use in the future for kitbashing or on a favorite mini you may have. These in particular are shoulder pads that I want to use on a few of my Mutant Bears of Fate Chosen, Chaos Chosen unit that I'm in the middle of making. Look at previous playlists for that army, you can find the video, link in the description if I figure out how to do it. So these, like I said, I'm going to show you how to make some molds of these and cast, and they'll be going on the Mutant Bears of Fate Chosen army, Chaos Chosen army that I'm going to be doing. So let's get to it. So first thing you're going to need is some green stuff, and with the green stuff you're going to have a little bit of milliput, and the milliput is a more brittle, fragile kind of material, whereas the green stuff, depending on what ratio you use, is more of a bendy material. So I kind of want a mixture between the two, but I'm going to be more on the milliput side because it's going to be for a shoulder pad, and anything like scrolls or stuff you want to kind of bend around the figure, I'd use more green stuff to make it more pliable. So less rambling and let's get to it. So we're going to make the molds themselves out of this, which is Omaru. You can find it on most eBay sites, and you can find it on most websites. It's just like blue stuff, a little bit cheaper. It's not blue, as you can see, it's more transparent. So this is what it looks like after you use it. You can reuse this stuff over and over again, and it comes in these little chunks here, but we only need this much for now. If we need more, we'll just get some more. So how you use this is put it in some hot water, and I like to use a flask, kind of like a flask cup, just to keep it nice and warm. And then I also use a flask and keep my hot water in, like a thermos, just so whenever I'm doing stuff it's always hot, and I'm not like using like warm water. You really want this water to be boiling hot, so be careful when you're using it, or always use something to put the umaru in and out, and don't use your fingers. So I'll just put that in there, and I have a little stick here I use just to move it around, and that will eventually get soft enough to use. While that is doing its thing, we should get a scalpel or a precision knife, whatever you may call it. Cut off a ratio of green stuff. Then when using this, the mid-center tends to go a bit hard, so I remove this and make it into a ball so you can use for later things, kit bashes or whatnot, you know. So let's mix this up to a certain consistency that we're happy with. So this is kind of the consistency that I'll be happy with. As you can see, it goes from yellow and blue to green, hence the green stuff. So keep that to the side, and we'll do the same. A little bit of Omaru, or not Omaru, milliput shall I say. I do apologize guys for me mixing up and being a bit stuttery, bear with me. So we'll get this an even ratio of the two, and mix, same concept, just mix that up until you're happy with the consistency that comes out with. And then that's the consistency of the milliput that I like to have. And then what we do is we get the green stuff in the milliput, we mix the two of them together to combine the two compounds. Is that the right word? Compounds? The two strengths of both the different products, shall I say, milliput and green stuff. So just keep on mixing that until you're happy with the consistency. And that's roughly the consistency that you want. So we'll put that to the side. And we'll remove all this, make some room. We should get our umaru that has been in here. As you can see, I can push the piece of wood against it now. The stick is malleable. We'll carefully take that out, and as you can see, it's very pliable now. So we'll get 2 bits of this, and just be careful guys using this with your hands. My hands are pretty hardened, so yeah, I used to I put it this way, I do a lot of cooking, so my hands are used to the heat. So we'll put that to the side, and we should prepare the pieces that we want to make casts from. So we'll go for these 2 first, since they have the most fine detail. And we'll prepare our space here, our workspace. Make sure it's quite clean of any debris. And then what you do is you use your stick to get a piece out, one of them balls you had. Poke it down so it's flat, roughly flat. Use a stick if you need to, and then get your piece and push that in there. Now these arms are to go in here in order to mold around the piece itself, so as to create a socket for the arm, because I know for a fact that I am going to need a little piece free in order to put the arm. So in order to do that, as you've seen there, we didn't have enough umaru, so I just added some more, the other piece that was in there. And what we'll do here is we're just molding, pushing the umaru around the edges. I usually tend to come in with something, a tool of some sort, in order to push the umaru around something that I'm molding or making a cast out of. Now, and you just leave that in there until this goes hard. And once this is hard, you take this out, and then we should fill it in with our mixture of umaru and green stuff. But while that is setting, I have a box here of pre-done molds that we could use with the umaru we have, or the mixture of milliput and green stuff we have on us now. So what I will do is grab one that I want many copies of, which would be the arm. So this is an arm that I am trying to copy. I will show you, I have a bunch of pieces here. So this is an arm that I'm doing. I'll show you how to do that right now. So you get our mix, and we find exactly which side we want it to go on. So the arm goes like that. I tend to make it the general shape of the weapon or whatever it is. We put that in there, and we'll put that in there, and then we'll get the 2 halves. Just make sure they're both the same, and squeeze them as tight as you can. Now, and leave that to set. All these hanging bits that come out, we trim them off at the end, so don't worry. And like I said, depending on what type of ratio you've used, milliput to green stuff, it's more fragile or less fragile to chip this off. More green stuff, it's actually easier to take the flashing off. The more milliput you add, more of a likely it's going to crack. So just remember, if you're going to put too much in, try to use more green stuff. If you're going to put just the right amount in, more milliput as a safety, just because you have less flashing. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video where this will finally be dry, or shall I say hardened, and we can make some casts from this and put them on our Chaos Mutant Bears of Fate Chosen unit that we are doing. Link in the description, or look at the playlist that is up on my channel for that video to come. We will see how our molds of the shoulder pads and our scrolls have done. So we made a mold of this shoulder pad here and some scrolls, and we shall see now how they done out. So as you can remember in the previous video, we done this mold, and this little indentation here is from an arm that we put in here just to make sure that we had that in order to stick it on the pre-existing arm on our model already. So we shall gently prise this out. Take a look. So there we go. So we haven't actually got all of the detail, but we'll scrape this off, and it's some detail is in that. Better than what we could have done by hand. So we'll trim that up, take all the flashing off, and hopefully it comes out good enough to use. Let's take a look at our scrolls. There is one scroll. As you can see, there's flashing on that one, but we'll just cut that off, trim it off. Let's have a look at the next one. And again, a bit of flashing, but we'll be able to cut them off easily enough. You can see the details there. I could probably do these with just Umaru, or not Umaru, with just milliput or green stuff, or just green stuff alone. But in order to have consistency, I would prefer to have the molds, so there's no different variations, although I will have different variation molds of the scrolls. It's just ease. I can have these being made and drying and setting while doing something else, instead of spending the whole time actually making the scroll itself, if that makes sense. And then I can also come back to these at a later stage. These molds are done and ready to just pop something in and throw to the side and leave to dry out. So these bits here, along with this bit, will go and get flashing taken off it, and they will be stuck onto the Chaos Chosen Kitbash army that I'm making. You should have seen in one of the previous videos. If not, just check out the playlist, and we shall see you in the next one. Hopefully these work out well and they go well with the army. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment and hit that notification bell for more updates. Thank you.